Charlie's been really empowered this season. She's been even more kick-ass than usual, just not in the fight scenes, but her sexuality. She's really taken charge with that. Can you talk about that, how that transition kind of came about?
I think it was just everything. We kind of combined everything that happened last year, and just I really wanted to see Charlie grow and show the other side of her. And I think I had a lot of fun year one playing her total vulnerable side and getting to with the audience, we got to watch her grow from being who she was to where she is now. And then I wanted to take all that, incorporate it, and use it for season 2. And so it's just, you after you go through something really traumatic, everybody grieves differently and goes through their stages in so many different ways. And so with Charlie, she's at the bottling it stage, and at the beginning of the season it's more she's trying to feel. She wants to see what she can kind of feel again, because she's so disengaged from so many things, and kind of just learns how to check herself, how to put her emotions to a different place, because she needs to get certain things done, which has been fun to play, just interesting to discover another side of her. I mean, I think Charlie's always somebody who's up for a challenge. Whether she knows that she's going to do it right or she's going to fail at it, she's still going to go into it 1,000%. And that's kind of one of the things that I love about her, is that it just doesn't even matter what you throw in her face. She's never going to turn around and be like, I can't handle the responsibility. It's a lot of pressure. She's just going to go for it and just see what happens. And I think that that's an admirable quality to have. And so so when the opportunity arose, she kind of just goes for it. And there's people that question her in all situations. I feel like, if somebody's given a situation where they get authority, there's going to be other people that don't necessarily agree with her, especially when the person is like, me, a little 20-year-old thing walking around me like, you do this. So yeah, there's definitely some obstacles that she has to overcome. We're gonna definitely get to see some growth come from that. But yeah, I mean, it's kind of like what I was saying earlier with like all the things that have happened. You kind of to deal with things, she's kind of just kind of lost her way, in order to find a way to channel everything, sort of thing. But we do eventually get to see kind of another side of that, where there's another level of growth, where you kind of accept things that have happened to you, and now what are you going to do with it, and where are you going to, you can't constantly live in the place of not knowing where you're going to be in your kind of lost phase. So she does kind of progress from that. Charlie may have some trust issues, a couple. I think she's definitely very cautious of everybody. I think the only person that she fully trusts is Miles. He's been the one person that's the most upfront with her about everything, and even though we don't see necessarily all their last year there was a lot of Charlie and Miles stuff. This year it's more, they've kind of come to a place where they're like, he's like, she's got it, and they have like a very great understanding of each other, and there's a lot of moments where I find that Billy and I really kind of get to do that, and it's in a quick second, and people might not pick up on it, but there is that kind of. But outside of that, yeah, I think even with her mom, I mean, they've gotten to a really great place, but I think there's still going to be a part of her that's a little bit, standoffish, because that's still a new thing that's come about.
Can you weigh in on the love triangle a little bit? Because now we're going to have Connor and Jason kind of in the same camp area, and so where's Charlie's heart? Is she going to weigh in on that?
Yeah, that's always interesting, isn't it? Having somebody who, I mean, with Connor, and as you kind of see after the whole sex thing happens, she sits down with him and she's just like, only if you care, and she's very just whatever about it. It's a fling. It's not a big deal. And then all of a sudden this bomb comes, and she sees Jason, and there's a lot of anger there, for her. He's tried to kill them a couple times. It's a little bit of a problem. And so she's mad, but there's still, he's still her first love, and he's still kind of that person for her. I see Jason as somebody who, whenever, I think that she's so afraid to trust him because she doesn't trust herself with him, because whatever it is with him, she'll kind of do it, and then she'll get herself into trouble a lot. Year one, there was always Miles being like, your boyfriend did this, and she's like, damn it, I did it again, you know what I mean? Like, I trusted him. And so I think that's a big part of why she rolls back with him. So it's interesting to see the big ring happen. But as far as which way she goes, I will not tell you that. I think the Charlie and Monroe relationship has been really interesting for me. Because there's just this like, there's so much anger and hatred there, but when there's they say what the opposite of love is indifference, right? So when you despise somebody, there's a level of passion that's there, whether you hate somebody very passionately. And I don't think that it's a sexual passion. I think it's just that, there's just something that she just, and he's responsible for so many things that went wrong in her life. And then you've kind of got to, there's another giant pill to swallow, because here he is, and you've got to get over all the things that he's done, and kind of he's on your team now, and you kind of have to deal with it. So I don't really know as far as like where they kind of stand. He's so, I mean, he saves her life and does all these good things at the beginning, and then he kind of goes to Jerkville a little bit, dabbles there, and then goes back. So like I think there's I think she just kind of handles him with great care. There's a lot of caution there, and when everything happens with Connor, I was kind of playing it in a way where just it's your problem, not my problem, right? And that was a really fun thing with David, that dynamic. When we were playing, it was a lot of fun because I was laughing and he was really angry. I do think that she's a very strong female figure. She owns herself, and I love that about her. And no matter when she fails or succeeds, she's still she's humble. She's not going to turn around and be a jerk about anything. And I just respect the fact that she does stand by who she is. At the end of the day, I may have screwed up, I may have ruined everything, and but whatever. I went with my gut and I trusted myself, and doesn't take shit from anybody. And doesn't take it from anybody without the ego, without the the chip on her shoulder in so many words. And so I don't know. I put her as somebody who I respect as that type of character. She grew up without power. Like, it was never something that fazed her, and it was never the journey for so many other characters in season 1. It was to get the power back on. For her, it was never about that, and it never became about that. It was always, even when they were going into the tower and they were going to do all that stuff, she was going along because she was part of that team, and they needed to do certain things to save the world. And so so she was going with it, but it was never her objective. I think it's interesting to think of what she would have been like, growing up in a world with power. But I just see her as somebody who's so strong-willed and so very much her own person that I don't really see her being that affected by it. Teamed up together, so it's Jason and Connor are kind of in the same vicinity with Charlie. That's kind of an interesting, fun dynamic. Trying to save some people.
Is she going to pick up on some of the problems that Jason's having because he's gone through the mind manipulation? Is she going to sense it more than like everybody else?
I think she's definitely more in tune with him than anybody else is. Yeah, I think they are with each other. And there's one distinct moment where she can feel that something's kind of happened, which is really actually kind of sweet to see how tight knit they are, and how much they're affected by each other's energy.